what I want to do is give you my take as an educator and an educationalist on resilience. And I'm not going to give you many answers, but I want to give you some provocations, I think. So, resilience, for me, we all need it, we all have it, and we can all develop it and grow it over time, given the right conditions and right support. I think we need the people working in schools and working with the education system, we need to think about two things. We need to think about how we develop resilience in individuals and promote resilience in individuals, but we also need to think about how we build resilience into the system and into the schools and the context in which we're working. And for me, the answer is it's a community thing. Before we go on to look at why I think it's a community thing, I think we need to be clear about what it is we're talking about. And lots of people have got different ideas when you talk to them about resilience. And this is one example that sometimes pops into people's head. I presume most of you have seen the film Castaway with Tom Hanks. And Hanks's character is marooned on a desert island somewhere. He's there for over 6 years, and he has to survive facing everything that the elements, the island, and his situation throws at him. So I think when we talk resilience, a lot of people have something like that in their head about what resilience might look like, but not all people. And lots of people have got different ideas around resilience. When you speak about resilience, some people will change the words and then they use different words. They'll use words like grit and character and determination and perseverance. And I think that is an indicator that, for me, when we're thinking about resilience, we need to think about it as a continuum. At this end, we've got failure in learning. Perhaps the Americans use bounce back ability as a term. That ability to come back, it's a sporting term, and that ability to come back after something's happened. You've had a defeat one week, and next week you bounce back and you have a win. Or you're a golfer, and you've had a bogey, or worse, on a hole, and the next hole you get a birdie or an eagle. And they call that bounce back ability. So there's requirement for resilience at that sort of level, and then at the other end is the stuff that we've heard about this morning, some of the stuff that we've heard about already this morning about trauma and dealing with crises and how we cope with that. So I think before we begin to consider, we need to think about what we mean by resilience. So this is what psychologists say, and psychologists link well-being and resilience very closely together. And this is Helen Dodge and colleagues. They were talking about well-being, and they talk about people's well-being being out of kilter, getting out of kilter, if they've got more challenge than if they've got resources. And I don't mean physical resources in terms of capability, time, support, everything that they're going to need to face the challenges. And when we've got too much challenge and not enough resource, that's when that balance that they talk about well-being gets out of kilter, and it tips towards a negative thing. She moves on. Another psychologists like her talk about psychological resilience, and that ability to return to pre-crisis status quickly, coping with a crisis, and then returning to more normality in terms of your life and the way you are able to perform once you've got past that. there's a heck of a difference between not having enough resources and facing lots of challenge and dealing with crisis. And we've already heard some stories, and we're going to hear more stories today of people dealing with crisis. And I think it's a continuum, and I think it's right that at the far end of the continuum with crisis and trauma, you don't know how you're going to cope until it happens to you. But I think as educationists, we have to think about resilience and how we might develop that. We also have to recognise that when we're talking about resilience, we're not talking about one aspect of the human condition. We need to think about mental, social, physical resilience as well, and well-being as well. It's not just one aspect of the human condition. So we like to make things as simple as possible, but actually it's quite complex. And when we're faced by trauma and crises, actually all of these are in play. If you go back and think about Tom Hanks on that desert island, all of these things were in play, not just one of them. So do we just have it, or can we build it? Well, I think it's both, actually. I think we're born with a certain level of resilience. If you think about the trauma of childbirth and surviving that and going through that, there's a certain level of physical resilience you need to do that. But I also think you can build it. I've got an 11-month-old grandson, and I've been watching him over the last 11 months and seeing how he is building up resilience over those 11 months, and how we're supporting him to do that. When he was first in hospital, he was completely dependent on midwives, his mum, of course, midwives, nurses, doctors in the hospital. Comes out of hospital, he's completely dependent on his mum, the health visitor, the village doctor, his immediate family round about him. Now, over the course of 11 months, he's growing, and he's quite a robust kid. And he's at the stage now where he's bum shuffling around. He seems to have missed crawling out of the equation, and he's just gone straight to bum shuffling to get to where he wants to go to, then standing up and trying to get to what he's trying to get to. So we're at the stage of moving things up higher and higher so he can't get to them. But when I think about how he's got there, he's had support and he's had encouragement all the way. He knows, and we know, that he's going to make mistakes, and he's going to have little falls. When he stands up, he's going to bump into things. He's bumped into things. He touches things he shouldn't touch, and he just has these little episodes. Now that doesn't mean we wrap him up in cotton wool and say, we don't let him do any of that. What happens is we have support round about him in terms of his family, and we give him encouragement, and we're there to pick up the pieces and offer him a bit of support if he needs it. But over the course of the 11 months, actually, the network of people around Luca has grown. It's grown from immediate family to friends of the family, other mothers, other kids, different groups he goes to. So that network is growing, and it's all there to support him. So, and I think that's a great way of thinking about how we can build resilience in adults and how we build resilience in ourselves as well. We need communities, we need collaboration, we need people and networks that we can depend on when things go wrong. Now, it might be things going wrong in little things that are going wrong, or big things that might appear at the time at work, but it might be bigger things going wrong at the other end of the spectrum. And what gets us through those times, and what can get us through those times, is discovering our networks and finding the people around about us, and identifying the people around about us who could give us that support and that sustenance and that nurturing if that's what we need. The thing about networks and communities. At one time we were restricted to the people we came into physical contact with on a daily basis. But now we've got the internet and we've got social media. We can actually build communities of support online. And I think that's one of the good things of social media. So I'm on Twitter and I'm an active member of the education community on Twitter. And we support each other in that community. So we tweet stuff about our roles, about research we've come across, things we've discovered, insights we've gained, and also about some of the challenges we face as well. And although we might not have met each other physically face to face, we've got a common understanding because we've got common experiences as well. And we can offer each other coaching and mentoring via Twitter or once we've made the contact in other ways as well. So I think we're in a time when we can create networks that are immediately around us, but we can also extend those. I've got people in Australia and America that I talk to, I've never met, but they've been so supportive to me in my role. So I think networks are key. Now, thinking about ourselves and our context and our schools and our education system, we have to think about the partners in that and how we build resilience in all of those people who are involved and in trying to help us to do what we want to do and achieve what we want to achieve for the young people. So we have to start with us. If we don't feel supported, if we don't feel as though we've got people around about us who are interested enough in us to support us and to help us when we're facing challenges, it's very unlikely we're going to feel in a place to be able to offer support to other people as well. So we have to start with us and think about what networks have we got that are going to help us in our role. Now, all of these people involved, we can help build resilience in all of these groups of people, but more importantly, perhaps, they can help build resilience in us and in what we do. So if we think about our staff and our colleagues, we can, if we're in a good place and we're feeling supported and we feel as though we're quite resilient, we can face challenges, we know what to do, we've got strategies we use, we should be looking to develop those and provide those for staff and colleagues as well, exactly the same, and help them to build their networks. And it could well be, and it was throughout all my career, that staff will be part of my support network, a big part of my support network, just as I was and you could be for the people working in your context. We've got to think about the learners, and we've heard a lot about that already this morning, about how we build resilience in our learners. I think one of the best ways we can build anything in learners is to model what the behaviours that we think will help them. So we need to talk to them about how we cope with stresses, how we cope with challenges, how we cope with some of the things that life throws at us, and the people we've got that help us get through those. Because we want to encourage our learners to start growing their own networks. Going back to Luca, I suppose, and young learners, when they're very young, we create the networks around them for them, but as we get older, we start to create and develop those networks. And so our learners need to understand that their peers are part of their support as well. Parents, we cannot function, we cannot achieve everything we want to achieve if we don't have parents on board and we aren't helping parents to build resilience. Parenting, as most people in here will know, can be very challenging. And part of our role is to support parents so they're better able to support the young people and better able to support us as well. The partners that we work with, we need to think about them as well, and it not being a situation where it's take by education, by schools from partners who are out there, but we have to think about how can we support them to develop resilience, and how can we help them to fulfil their roles better so they are better able to support us with what we're trying to achieve. What we're not really good at yet, I don't think, is tapping into the expertise, the experience that is in our communities within which our schools are set. There's a load of expertise and experience out there, and I think it's part of our responsibility to help the community develop resilience, but also to tap into that to help the schools and the young people develop resilience as well. So we need to think about all of those different groups. We've heard from someone from the Violence Reduction Unit. John Cornican used to head up the Violence Reduction Unit for Scottish Police. And he's saying this a lot at the moment. Whatever the question, the answer is relationships. Absolutely right. We can't build resilience in people and in each other if we haven't got strong relationships. And you know, when you find out how strong relationships are, that's when things go wrong. When traumatic things happen, and I'm not talking about poor HMI inspection, I'm talking about the death of a child, the death of a parent, the death of a member of staff. Stuff like that, that's when you really find out how strong your relationships really are. Going back to Tom on his desert island, when he first arrived on the island, he was there 6 years or more. He was talking to himself. He talked to himself, and he had a picture of his fiancée, and he talked to that as well. But it wasn't enough. He needed more company. He needed more community. And I think we all do that. We all talk to ourselves at times. We might do it in our head, and we might do it out loud. That might just be me, but I think most people do it at some stage, especially when we're feeling challenged. You know, I bet most of the speakers coming up here today were chatting away to themselves on the way up and in their heads going through what they were going to talk about. So, you all know who this is? Wilson, yeah. So volleyball washed ashore on the desert island, and he created another person that he could talk to who would give him support and help him deal with all the challenges he was facing, help him get off the island. And unfortunately, Wilson got washed away off the raft when he was escaping from the island, and that was traumatic for Tom because he was such a support and such a help. So perhaps in the most difficult situations, even when we don't feel there are people around about us, we create communities of support. I just want to finish by saying I think resilience develops through experience over time and with support. But most of all, it develops within communities that are glued together by trust, by empathy. And I think everyone has a responsibility to look to create those communities, those collaborations, not only for themselves, but for the setting in which they work. Thank you.